This video will explain the buttons across the top toolbar and show what they mean. We're also going to go over the map and data box a little bit and talk about reordering your data. I have a couple data sets that I'm going to use for that, so I'm going to turn them off for now just to make it easier to see. So first, in the top left corner is our map section. Some of these buttons are pretty self-explanatory. There's create a new map, open a previously saved map, and then the third option is to save a map. When you click save, you just give it a name and that project's waiting for you going forward. Next, we have MapShare, which there's two kinds of MapShare within MapShare. There's public MapShare, which is if you have a license and somebody else doesn't, you can create a link, and that link you can email to someone else. They can click on it, opens up our viewer, and they get an interactive version of the map that you've created. They can't edit the map in any way, but they can click on points and view territories and see what those points in the map mean. There's also private sharing within MapShare. So if two people have licenses, then you can take your map, save it, and then do a private share with another person, and you can allow that other person to edit your map if you want them to. At the top, we have our address bar, so you can type in an address, you can type in a street, comma, city, comma, state, or you can do a street, comma, zip code, or you can just type in a zip code or a city and a state, and that'll pinpoint you there on the map. We also have a blue arrow that points to the left, and that's an undo button. The blue arrow to the right is a redo button. And then the last option is a little settings gear to pull up manage map and data. You can get in the manage map and data several ways, but this is just one way. And it opens up to the page where you can set different views. Also, you can edit your legend, or this is where you'd go to bring back a legend if you accidentally close the legend. So close out of this for now and talk about the next section of adding data to the map. So this first button, this red push pin, is how you bring in your customer data. So if you have a bunch of locations in an Excel spreadsheet, you can bring them in this way, whether they're dealers or customers or reps, you can bring them in this way. Next is our Create Territories button, and this is how you pull in a spreadsheet of data to constitute territories. So you just click this first section, and this wizard will walk you right through how to bring in that territory spreadsheet. And this is just an example of what a spreadsheet might look like. You have a list of zips and a list of territory names. If you do it by county, then we just want you to do county, state, and territory name file. The map layers button is how you bring in additional types of data. So if you want to show a highway layer or congressional districts or something like zip3 or school districts, you can have that as a geographic layer on the map. Market analysis. This is a feature most often used in our Pro tool, the next tier up. And there's several features in here. A lot of them have to do with drive times. So if you have a couple different spreadsheets and you want to see how long does it take for the points in spreadsheet A to drive to points in spreadsheet B, then you can use this. You can also create many drive time territories at once, or created by a circle radius. So if you've imported a list of data sets, say you got 50 points you brought in, and you want to create a 100-mile drive time radius that constitutes territories, you can query it this way. We also do have a summarize demographics button at the bottom. So if you've imported a bunch of points and you want to see, what's the population, or maybe what's the estimated median household income of a 50-mile radius around those center points, you can use that tool. And once again, this is a feature of Pro. Next is our color coding section, and this is how you can symbolize your points that you've already brought into the map. The first one is color code with circles, and so you can make dots on the map larger or smaller based on a numeric column of your spreadsheet, like sales. We have color code with symbols, which is probably the most commonly used way to color code your data once you bring it in. With color code with symbols, you can color code by any column of your imported spreadsheet. So if it's sales, or if you want to color code by a rep name or a customer type, then that's how you do it. Charts, you can create bar graphs and pie charts based on up to 6 numeric columns of your spreadsheet. So for an example, if you have market share for your company and 5 other companies, you can show bar graphs and pie charts with this tool. Heat map, that is just a color cloud. Looks nice on a PDF, and so you can show it to show a lot of intensity for whether it's customer locations or where a lot of sales are made. The last button in this color coding section, as far as color coding goes, is unlike the others. We call it color code map or boundaries. And with this, you can color code geographic layers. So you can color code counties, zips, states, territories based on either data from your imported spreadsheet. So So you could color code the entire county, for example, based on imported data. Or you could color code the entire nation if you wanted to, based on demographic data that's embedded in the program. So if you ever want to see across the nation median household income or populations, you can use that tool, and it'll show you that data nationwide. The last button in the section is just to clear your color coding. So if you want to clear the color coding for a spreadsheet, or color coding for territories or zips, counties, or states, you'd use that tool. Next are search tools. The first button is our business listings tool. With that, you can search for businesses based on an NAICS code, which is a grouping of businesses by a similar number. You can search by SIC code. You can also search for just any business by name, or you can search for businesses within zips, states, or something like a circle. The search tools are immediately to the right of that, and it starts off with a circle, and if you click the little pull-down list, you get different options. You have a polygon, you have a freeform tool, which is draw your own shape, and then a drive time polygon. These search tools with the shapes have little binoculars, and so that just cues you in that these are the tools that are used to find data. So you can use these to grab big chunks of zips if you want to create territories, or if you've imported a customer list, you want to draw a shape and then pull the customers that are within that shape, then you'd use these tools. Next are our draw tools, and similarly they have a pull down list, so you can draw circles, polygons, freeform shapes, drive areas, rectangles, lines, curves. You could drop text on the map, and you can also drop individual locations. With any of these shapes like a circle, you can change their colors. You can make them have fill or not have fill. We have a distance tool next to it, and that just looks like a ruler that allows you to do a straight line distance. And you can also make them look at like different arrows, different size, and different pointing arrows on there. So just know that that is there. Next, we have our printer icon, which allows you to print your current map view or save it as a PDF. If you save it as a PDF, you can do a custom paper size. You can do all the way up to a 5-foot by 5-foot wall map if you wanted to. When you're printing, I'm a big fan of saving it as an image first, whether it's PDF, JPEG, or PNG, and then printing that image. If you want to save a PNG or JPEG, it's the button next to it for export image. Our data window is the next one down the line. It kind of looks like a calendar. And this is where you can look at the data that you brought into the map. So I brought in a simple list of customers here. And so we can see all the information from that Excel spreadsheet that we brought in. You can toggle between the different data sets you bring in. Also, if we had territories created on the map, then we'd be able to see those as well. We also do have an export button listed here. Finally, we have our route button at the top. And this allows you to create road routes with up to 150 stops. So you can set your start, stop, finish along the way. And with the add stop button, you can manually type in a location, whether it's your hotel you're staying at that day or your home location. You can enter in addresses one at a time. We have reverse stops if you want to change the order of them, clear stops, zoom to route, print your directions, and then we have an export button, which would allow you to export your directions and stops list as a CSV file, PDF. You can also export to a GPX file or like a TomTom file as well. Next is our map and data box, and this is where we control our different data layers. So I'm going to just turn on my zip5 codes real quick, and I'm going to use my search tools to just quickly draw a nonsensical territory here. I'm going to query my zip codes, and I'm going to just call it territory 1. Have that, I'll just delete and get rid of this little shape. And so now I'm left with my territories. So now I want to see what states they're in. So I'm going to just turn on my states layer, and I can see the state borders. But I'm going to actually make those state borders stand out a little bit. So I'm going to click on the little settings here next to states to open up Manage Map and Data. I'm going to make those a little bit more bold. As you can see, the state borders are being covered by my territory. So I just want to let you know that you can change the layering in the program. So I can just take my states layer, click and drag above territories. So now I get a really bold representation of those state borders over my territory. So I wanted to show you that here. Another thing to show you are the ordering of data sets. So I have one list called customers that I've actually color coded. I have another list called breweries, which is another data set of breweries across the US and Canada. And you can see that my breweries is kind of overlapping. They're kind of overtaking my customer list. I can change the order of my customer list by just clicking and dragging above my breweries. And now they take precedence, so I can see them above my breweries. So I just want to let you know that. One more thing, if you go into Manage Map and Data at any one of your data set levels, you'll notice that you could change the size and you can change the color and the shape here. You can also change your callouts, and callouts are just pieces of information when you hover your mouse over a point. What are the pieces of information that pop up? You can have up to 5 pieces of information, and this is where you would change that information. And just to give you an idea, this is what it looks like. You just move your mouse cursor over a point and it pops it up with the fake sales information that I brought in. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're available through phone, chat, and email. And otherwise, have a great day.